Whew. Okay, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun and it's gonna be interesting. I promise you. I promise you that you have not heard of intention in terms of being raised a Muslim and how to set your intention. We all told about intention, right? And oh, set your intention. It's like, what the heck does that mean? Set my intention. It's like, is intention a goal? That's what, like, is that what a goal? Is that what it is? So I was very confused, and for a very long time, I was very confused about intention, intent, intent, like something in a tent, in a covering. I mean, the English language itself is very coded. It's a lot of anagrams, and I'm not even getting into the quantum physics of language itself, but the power of intent. And I'm going to make it spiritual and quantum physics, because a lot of times growing up, when I got told certain things and like, oh, you ask Allah dua and this and that, it's like we just ask it, and it's like it becomes like a wish, and we don't really get taught the mechanics of it. There's actual rituals and mechanics of it. It's that higher knowledge, higher information got cut off through the institutionalization of the Islam as we know it, in the Western culture. And basically, like, the Islam that has been practiced has been the most agreeable to the system, but that worked back then, but it's not going to work now in the age of information where these questions are being asked and people are unhappy and they've been sold a bunch of lies, and it's not that they've been sold a bunch of lies, it's that they have been kept at a very lower level of consciousness at like a younger age, at like a EQ, emotional um, EQ, quotient, the emotional IQ, EQ, at a very like a low level, and through fear and kind of like working like the lower like nafs, the ego's desires, and it's like it's deep. But in this episode, I'm going to teach you a little bit about that. So a lot of things we do, a lot of our things are reactionary. We are always reacting. We're always in reaction mode. And then when we're told to take action and be proactive, all we do is we're proactive in the sense of like we think of that same reaction mode, but longer down the line with that same. So it's still playing defense. It's always on the defense. It's always in a reaction mode of creating, reacting to this, reacting to that, and taking action. Oh, so you don't become, poor, so you don't do this. Taking precautions, safety is different than I'm talking about. This is a deeper level. Like, okay, I'm gonna finish, get this degree and get this schooling so I can make more money. And it's like, because I have to be secure and I have to, or I have to feel like I need to be educated and acknowledged by the community and have a high status, so that you're reacting to the failure of that by becoming those things. It's still a reaction, but I'm talking about an intent, like what kind of lifestyle do you want? Not about what you want to do. I'm saying is, what do you see yourself doing? Do you see yourself, going from, I don't know, like state to state, selling a franchise, and it's like, or selling your idea or something, or whatever. Do you see yourself going from state to state, doing the thing you love, which is crunching the numbers and finding ways clients can have more efficiency in their productivity, whatever, and you like doing that, so you'd be valuable to a consulting company, basically. So, if you see yourself, say you're 18 years old and you have the foresight to be like, you know what, I want to travel, I want to be like a consultant, and it's like, or no, I want to be, but I want, but but that it can't be like, oh, I want to make $200,000, because then when you make it, it's like you didn't count on, not being able to spend your money because you're always you're missing birthday parties and children's, your kids, this or that event because you have to be at work. They are paying you $500,000, and you have to be on the project. And hey, it's like, dude, you know what I mean? There's people like that. I'm just giving you an example. I mean, that's what it is. It's like, you read about like the people that work at like Facebook or these tech companies. Because I know some people here that are doing some big things, and they told me stories. Like this one internet company here, that's kind of like a specialty internet company. They were at one point making something like $9 million a month, just in like the ad revenue. And these are a bunch of guys that kind of got together, and so this is so after after they got that level and they were making that money, now this, like, the team had to be there even more. It's like you have this huge machine that, it's like you don't trust this person, and it's like it was becoming like, oh, you're not doing your work, and it's like it was getting really, really like stressful, and the people weren't enjoying their money, and they're like, or the money that they got, it made them into like, it's starting to self-destruct, where people are doing like drugs and like, girls, and like, they're kind of like falling apart, and but because they couldn't keep it together, that money was getting too big. But they got help, and they're doing fine now. But the intent is like, what is your ultimate intent? And you can change it all the time. It could be based on your passion. It's like, what I love, uh, whatever there is, like, you have to realize that the creator created this world for you. Whoever you are watching me, it's your world. You have to create it in it, and the first thing you have to do is you have to have a seed, and the seed is that intent. Okay, and then that seed has to start getting nourished, and actualizing, because it takes, nourishment, continued nourishment, and then the shell has to, break away and expand its form, which is like the ego. It has to expand until it breaks, and lets the intent, you know, start harvesting, start to sprout, after all that work. It's like, but it's not like the work stops. Oh, it's sprouting now. Now I don't have to meditate. I don't have to pray. I don't have to do these practices, these affirmations and gratitude journal and all these, like, dhikr, all that stuff. And then on top of that, look after the body, because it is your vehicle for these, who wants to be, like, when you imagine yourself in a island, just, doing some work online and loving your life, you don't imagine yourself at a bad health, but to get to that level, you imagine yourself healthy, you see yourself in like your best form. It's like, it's you. It's not like some other person. It's you, but it's like something that the subconscious mind imagines. It's like that soul part of you imagines it, and it's obtained. It's a real reality. It is actually, that's quantum physics. You are activating waves, or you're breaking down waves and creating a string to the fourth, from the fourth dimension to the fifth. From the fifth to the third. Which is just a shadow. We are the end result of a chain of thoughts, and like, self wording, like, I'm getting really deep, but like, for example, like, where the word Allah, breathed his life into us, right? So where is that breath from? Okay, where is it from? Okay, it's like, okay, angel put it in us. Okay, fine. Where is that breath from? It cannot not be from the divine itself. It cannot be from outside of the divine, because then it's not the divine. It is the divine. So the breath is the divine. It's in us. It is us. And it's like that's. But the thing is, like the ego, the nafs, it's becomes separated, from that understanding and how to get back. And it's like, then the prophets came and people that give examples, and almost like people that have like came back to kind of like tell you the way and practice the way they lived, and it's like you get metaphors, and it's like it's a story. It's almost like your own blueprint that you're telling yourself, because it's all one. Everything is all oneness. It cannot be separate. We've been told our lives, like when we imagine going to hell or heaven, it's always like you imagine it as a human, but it's not, because this form is nothing. This is just a bunch of vibrations at a certain frequency with a certain amount of consciousness. We agreed upon this, like, in Islam, like there's a lot of this, our soul like basically agreed to this, because we had a covenant. We have a covenant with Allah before our souls were created, and it's like that, the whole thing is to come back to the oneness, and it's like that's the process, the ascension, it's like, and it's like you ascend, and then when you physically die, it's like wherever you are in that ascension, it's like I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of research. There's a lot of physical. I mean, there's a lot of quantum physics about, like, see, the thing about science, they cannot answer that consciousness. They can't answer that. But science is just the explanation of the structure of the physical. So even but the quantum is like the spiritual. But even quantum physics, they could only get past to that. They know the atoms and electrons, and how it's charges and stuff like that, and bonds, and like matter and carbon. It's like they have that down to the science, but they don't know how it becomes in that form. But all they can say is, like, even when they observe the wave, when you they did like a double slit experiment, and basically when you collapse the wave by observing it, by imagining it, that part of you imagining those things, you're collapsing waves, and that you're creating like seeds. And the more you think about that wave, and the more you have thoughts about your better health, and just all these good things, the more you think, and then the more you act, instead of eating burgers, you're eating better, you're taking walks, you're cleaning up your diet, you're basically like getting real with yourself, and some people, it takes them a series of events, and some people because it's actually the nafs, it's the ego holding on to a certain reality, because things are breaking down, and it's trying to grasp on to different identities, because it's scared. It's like a 10-year-old child, of course it would be scared. You're lost in New York City, it's like, shit, you're crying, you think you're tough, like at home, 11, 12 years old, like, but you're lost in New York City, you're crying, I mean, I don't know about now, but back then, this is like the 90s even. Apples, I love them. So yeah, intent, it's that thought, the whole aspect of, like, not like, oh, how you want other people to perceive you. Oh, I want them to think I'm this and that. I want to be successful. I want to have things. So no, what is your intent? Like, why do you want a helicopter? Because you want to be efficient with your time and your lust, your love for spending time with your family, and you want to be efficient. That's better than, that would be that's not an ego. That's not an ego thing. Most people, it's like, oh, okay, I have a helicopter. It's like, but it's like when you see people that are at that level, and they're utilizing this kind of science, I guess you can call it, of creation. Um, Everything is for efficiency. Helicopter efficiency. That's why they have private jets. It's not because they want to be cool and this and that. It's like it's efficient, and it's like you can do whatever you want on it. I met a hostess, a flight attendant that works for a private jet company, and like we're talking about this kind of stuff, and it's like, yeah, this is like it's like how the hell, how do you know this, and then it's like, because this is why it's not for showing off, it's for maximum efficiency and an intent, and it's like a feeling, you know and it's like it's written in a book. You're writing your book, and you're planting seeds, which is your word and your intent and your thought, and you're encompassing your why, and how strong some people it's for revenge, and that's so strong, that revenge of I'm going to show these people and make something of myself. It takes them and it eats them in their later on in their life. They become bitter, and it's like, yes, they obtain that, they really told those people because they made it, but it's like their intent was like revenge. It was like very hard, enough, very separate than like knowing the oneness, of the creation and all this stuff. It was different, it's like, but it's like yeah, uh it's energy, and your intent, and your intent is just your imagination, right? It's your imagination of a parallel self, and what you want, I guess. Not even what you want, because you don't get what you want in life. You get what you are. You don't get what you want. You get what you are. But that what you are is your realization, and you're climbing, and you're getting better. Then you become into what you are. And if you are broke, if you're broke all the time, if you're always unlucky, you're always getting passed up, or you're always late, or you're always in a hurry, that's what you are. You are in a hurry. You're that being, in a hurry. You are what you are. You are what you say you are. And unfortunately, a lot of times we don't talk kindly to ourselves. It's like, oh, you idiot. You shouldn't have done that. It's like we talk for, it's like it becomes a vibration. It becomes like and it's all like, it's all that it's like resistance, because imagine if that voice was telling the right thing. It doesn't, because it doesn't want to change. It doesn't want to change, because it's like, if you're depressed, depression can't have you going outside and meeting people and laughing, and genuinely being fulfilled. It can't have that, because it can't exist in that dimension. It can't exist in that environment, that even your food, your people around you, the music, the way your feng shui is, you know what I mean? It's like the way your sacred geometry is. If everything's geometry and angles, it's like, how sacred is your geometry? How sacred is your space? How clean is your life? Your mindset. And it's like, this is all about spirituality, and then our Islam teaches this, Christianity teaches this, everything teaches it, but at a deeper level. But everybody's caught in like identity, in a certain identity that was given to you. You didn't adopt, you just adapted it because you had no other choice. But it's like, there's no rules anymore. I mean, there's rules. Those old rules, foundational rules, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for those old rules. But you have to adapt, and it's like, it's a different time now. And thinking lowly of yourself, that's not going to get you anywhere. And you can't even have an intent. I mean, I'm saying is like, it's not, oh, make your goal realistic, make it realistic. It's like, no, you know what you like. What you like doing, and you're kind of like nerdy about it, and no one really knows, but you're really shy to talk about it. Like I like doing this stuff. I'm telling you, since like I was really a big dork and shy loner in all throughout middle school, high school, and I think it was like, shoot, I don't know, maybe it was ninth grade where I shaved my head, and or maybe like ninth and a half grade, I don't know, something like that. I shaved my head, and no, I don't know, it was maybe 10th grade. Shaved my head. This is like 1995, you know, yeah, 95, and 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 I don't know, I was in a little group and we made videos and stuff like in school, you know, and it was like it's like one half was film editing and the other half was like screen printing and photography and being in the black room and all that stuff. They used to have this in high school back then, and and we made films and I loved it. I started loving like acting and like not acting but like just talking and setting up the props and having the camera around, you know, and I was shy all the time, but I came alive at that, and people, you know, were like kind of like noticing it, and they wanted me to go in the play, and just didn't. I thought I was, you know, it wasn't good enough, so I never did anything afterwards, you know, and but it was just that, you know, now in this era, the platform is here. You know, it's almost like everything in this world is created for you, you know. It's like not in a selfish way, but I'm saying is you, everything's a reflection of you, you know, at whatever level, and we upon to be in this like earth, you know what I mean, to be in this matrix, you know, kind of. It's like a with these rules of gravity and this and that, and there's different principles, and there's the principles of the seen reality, there's the unseen principles, and how the hierarchy is. Just like in government, you have the different structures of the government. Same thing, as above, so below. It's like in the unseen, it's the same structure of the same kind of like same structure, you know, to that oneness, because it's all one. It's like imagine a triangle, you know, in the physical, and then an upside down triangle, and it's like just reflecting itself, you know. One's in the physical, one's in the one's in the seen, one's in the unseen, and that thing that's viewing it is seeing all of that. It's through the third eye type thing, you know. It's kind of weird, but it's like there's nothing except the one power, one everything. It's all one. There's no separateness. There's no separation. And but knowing this, it's like, oh, how does this help me in this life? It's like, no, this is like powerful information, because now it's like you're not just, you know, this is like some big time stuff, you know, as in like it's like it answers the questions, you know, and the study of this answers those questions. Then now you have what you speak about is more sacred, you know. So you're not going to be wasting your time talking about gossip and all this crap. You're not even going to be in that conversation. You're not going to be around that, because that's affecting what goes inside your head. It's like, oh, but you have to be informed about the news and this and that. It's like, why? For what? You don't have to be informed. For what? It's the same stuff happens every freaking year since I was a child and remember the news. It's a cycle over and over again. Oh, impeachment, this and that. Oh, war there. Oh, the Russia. It's like, dude, it's been happening over. It's a cycle. They don't have anything else. That's what I'm saying. It's like you have to wake up that you're in a cycle, and you have to like wake up out of this. You know, like every day you die and you wake up. Every day you die, you wake up. This is hell, basically. You know what I mean? It's like that. It's like, but it's like it's heaven, and it's like the ascension. Everything. It's all one. It can't be separate. It can't be, oh, this stage is like, oh, it's like, then what does infinity mean? It doesn't mean, it's like, you can't, man, it's like crazy. It's like, you can't be, it's like having 1 hour. What's 1 hour or 1 billion years versus infinity? It's like, doesn't make sense. You know, it's like, that comes from, it's like, there's no time. It's like just a illusion, you know? But I mean, you need it to, you know, get to work on time and things like that, you know, but it shouldn't use it. It should serve you, not entrap you, not. So everything in this world should serve you, not um, making it difficult for you, or kind of keeping you under some kind of ceiling. You know what I mean? It shouldn't. It should be used for your ascension, not for your um, entrapment. You know, it should raise you. So government should help you, not be this neck, foot on your head, or it's like, because it's like it's made from you. It's the average, the people. It's the government of the people, for the people, by the people. But you know what I mean. That's what it was. But whatever. But you can still have your own reality in this reality by not being a part of that reality, not being part of that, TV and all that. You're making it real by giving it authority over you. You don't need to give your authority to the healthcare system, because you take care of your own health. You can go online and learn anything, but use your common sense. But it's like not your common sense, but you look at like it past the ego. It's like, you know what, fine, I don't like apple cider vinegar. I don't like the way it tastes, but okay, these benefits, fine, I'll try it for a week, and it'll get better. And okay, why? I feel better. And then you mix different things in it and you make it taste better. Then you get detoxified, and then you start eating other things that you wouldn't eat, and it just feels better. And it's just like you just kind of make it a lifestyle. Then you go to somebody's dinner and they're offering you there's all this array of food, and you're just like, man, you know that you've been really good. You lost like 10 pounds, and you feel, not more than the losing the weight, you feel better about yourself. You just feel like you're regaining your youth back. And this could be in any age, actually, what I'm saying. It's just very, the changes, all that it hurts is your ego, but it helps your health. When one way outweighs the other, one ego would be like, okay, I don't want to make this auntie feel bad, so I'll eat this food that she made for me, and she made specifically for me at a party with 100 people in it. It's like, you know what, just take some on the side, and just, it's like, you don't have to, you can just be like, oh, I love your food, take something else in it, and just don't allow other people to make you feel bad, because you want to make them feel good. So it's like you're giving them fake energy. I mean, it's like, but it's like, it's not, it's like you're allowing her to be in that state of illusion from you, and also she's not gonna know the truth, or I'm not saying, oh, the food is horrible. Oh, how was the food? And you didn't like it, and you say, oh, it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, it was great. It was great for that person, clearly, or whatever. Just say, oh, it's great. It's great. All your stuff is great, you know. Or but if someone's like, hey, critique my food because I'm gonna open a restaurant, or it's like, then it's like, you know what? There's people you can hire for that, Anyways, so what I'm saying is, you don't put yourself, your time now becomes a stepping stool, because exactly, you can hold yourself accountable for the time that you waste on doing things that you don't need to do, and not on your passions or your projects. Like I'm a perfect example of these kind of things. I wasted a lot of time procrastinating. It was all it was fear of actually starting, or fear of it wasn't it was the enoughs still holding on to security, and but it has to let go, and the divine is like going to take it, but it has to, but the habits make it such where it's just like it's doing it, so it has the habit of the healthy food, and the mindset, and like the dhikr and things like that, because it's like the nafs has to vibrate at a higher frequency, and it has to get to a higher frequency by all kinds of things. That's why we have prayer and all that. But it's like prayer has become just a ritual that's empty. It's like you know the metaphysics of these things, and then also, if you don't even know what you're saying, but if it is, at least if it's harmonious, it puts you in a trance, you know. That's all it is. It's about putting yourself in a theta brainwave, where it's almost like a lucid dream, where you're walking around understanding everything's a reflection of you. I mean, this is a higher level, but everything is a reflection. So if you see certain colors around you, you know what your vibration is. You know, you go intuitively, you know, you feel it. You know, you can certain synchronicities happen. You know, because you know, how do the angels communicate? You know, we've been told, we have all these stories with like the prophets and all this stuff where they always communicated with the angels and jinn and all this stuff, and they had all this help, you know, but yet we have no help. But they're human, and we're human too, you know. They're not superhuman, they're human. What I'm saying is that they just interpreted these things as different things, you know. They call it angels, you can call it, you know, intent, and like you call it a wave particle, you know, whatever the hell, it doesn't matter, it's just a different name. What I'm saying is that the practice is supposed to be the same to get you into get you back into what your oneness, you know what I mean, back to Allah, back to your self, I guess, you know, or whatever, the oneness, you know, the back to the one, you know. um but it's like, but I don't know what I was saying. So knowing this information in your everyday life, it can make you a better anything. It can make you just happier. A lot of people have, you can't just quit your job. You can't do that, you know. And you see these guys like Jay Shetty, you know, and you see these other guys, these, you know, they left everything, and then they, you know, spent time in a monastery, and they came back enlightened, and you know, they're doing what they're doing now. It's like, use your brain. Who supports them? You know what I mean? It's like the monastery that that guy went to, which he says good stuff, you know, but it keeps you at one in, you can't, it makes you rigid to his reality, you know. What I'm saying is that his parents own that monastery, you know. It's not like he came from a struggle, you know. It's like he came from money, you know what I mean. So it's like his root was not like in fear, or like, you know, being, you know, in a middle class family, and like, you know, you see your parents kind of like, you always think about, like, you always think that you're well to do, but it's like you never really have, like, you know, growing up that much, or you don't want to be like that anymore, and now, or 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 you have money now, but it's like you're kind of unhappy, or you feel like you can't you know, be that version of yourself that you know you can, but you don't know what to do, you know. And or you keep on falling to your old habits, or a lot of times you want the information to come to you in a certain way, you know, based on your what's important to you. You know, a lot of people, okay, they only want it from a person that went to an Ivy League school, you know. They have somebody like that, okay, then you can get it from them, you know. It's like, but it's like, it's always like, oh, okay, I have to get it from this specific, it has to be this specific way, otherwise I'm gonna deny it, you know. I'm gonna think it's stupid, you know. It's like, oh, it has to come from a good, you know, this team, oh, okay, this, you know, whatever. It's like, it's so many different ways that the ego traps you, the devil, whatever, you know, keeps you from changing. Because when you change and you acquire that knowledge, or you go to that next level, it's like some demons, some parts of you, some energies can't get to that high level, you know, physically and spiritually, in quantum, which I mean, you know, like in that thought, you can't be in gratitude, true gratitude, and still be wanting, you know, or jealous, you know, because then it's not, that's not true gratitude. True gratitude is, you know, it's like, it's deep. It's like gratitude is even mis kind of talked about in our like religious talk, like be grateful, so, you know, eat this food, be grateful. So it's like, that's not great. Gratitude is a requires action. It requires okay, you're grateful for your your car. So like, are you taking care of it? You're grateful for your gratitude. You have to show respect to, and in terms of your action. But what I'm saying is, that even if your intent is not defined, if you don't have an intent, like a clear defined intent, then your action and your gratitude can be encompassed in like a reaction. So you're only grateful when you're when things are going good. But when it's getting kind of stressful, then you're not, that gratitude kind of like gets, goes away. But it's like, the idea is to be even grateful when it's bad, because you have a lot to be grateful for still. Doesn't mean you don't. But when you change that condition, it can be a reaction. It's really crazy, right? It's like, it can't be a reaction. It has to be an intent. So it's like, you know what, I'm gonna become this person. So like that, and you envision that person, and you are like, how would that person eat? How would that person that you envision of yourself, not in 5 years of this, it doesn't matter. Don't look at time. Just look at the event. Just look at the moment, because you're collapsing a wave. I'm teaching you some law. This is like very expensive stuff. All right. So you have like, I'm no joke. Okay. You have a intent, as in like, okay, my intent is to be on a beach, just with my family, running around, and I like to imagine them like younger. That means, it's like, they're running around at 30 years old. It's like, no, they're running around. They're still looking the same. You know what I mean? That's what I look at it as. And it's like, when they're still looking the same, but all that's changed is my form. It's not even my form. It's just my I don't know, my gratitude level slash awareness slash just not worried about anything, in terms of everything's being taken care of, because the systems are in place. The rooms, it's like you have managed that as part of your lifestyle. So it's like, you don't have to worry about this, or working out, or eating healthy, or when, it's like, it's all part of that whole vision itself. So that's what you imagine. You imagine that all being a part of it. So all your, you can even imagine, like, your dinner tables are freaking, I don't know, Ferrari, and it's like, whatever, it doesn't matter. That's what I'm saying. It's possible. There's people like that have a dinner table that's a car, or like a half of a car. But what I'm saying is that don't put your logic into it, as in like, oh, that's stupid. Oh, I can't never do that. Oh, I can never lose the weight. Or, it's like, just be that person. And then when you think it, and it's like, it's almost like you're daydreaming. You wake up and you still act like that person in that dream state, which was the daydream, whatever you're imagining in meditation. In meditation, you got to be in meditation. That's better. And then what you do is, in that meditation state, when you're imagining, you set up certain symbols, okay, like like triangles and hexagons and different geometry, and the reason why I say that is because everywhere you look around you, there's geometry. So subconscious mind is always attaching. Every time it walks around and sees geometry, it's ingrained to think in that dimension where you put that geometry up, But that's getting too deep. But it's more than that. It's just my movements itself, Everything is sacred geometry, and it's like it's just that, and then that's your intent. See, and then when you're in, would you eat like that person? Would you react that pissed off to somebody? No, it's like, you would be like, this person's, you know, I understand their frustration. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like there's a time to your power should be in your action, you know, your action to uh, manifest that intent. It's like a circle, you know, you feed it, you keep on feeding it, and you can't be in reaction mode because all the energy has to go there. You have to heal old past wounds, and you have to become a different person. You have to let go of limiting beliefs about yourself, about even, dare I say it, about the truth about our religion, and the truth about, like, you know, the esoteric, you know, the all the stuff that was hidden, you know, like the Moors, you know, and like and geometry, and why is geometry so important in Islamic art? You know, it's all geometry. It's all sacred geometry. It's all understanding that, and it's the unseen. It's the quantum science of creation, and that's what the secret is. And it's deeper than that. But I'm just saying, it's for the dunya you create with that intention. Because the ultimate intent is to go to Jannah. That's what everybody, you know, that's what an imam would say, you know, to go to Jannah and unite with the Prophet, you know, and the divine. And it's like, how, like this, or like how, you know, it's like you can't. It's like it's been told in that time for those people that understood that language and the context, and you know, it's like it could mean what I'm saying to you in terms of quantum and energy and oneness, you know, it's the same thing they're saying back then. It's like, oh, the stuff, you know what I mean? It's like a different language. And then it's like translations too, and our own like uh, version of the lens of reality we want to see, and you know, and everything is dualism. You have to realize that, you know, you can't appreciate the concave if it wasn't for the, you know, the caved, or vice versa. You know, how would you know what success is if you haven't had failure? How would you know what uh, like feeling good is if you haven't felt feeling healthy? You know, how would you know what it's like, it's polarities, you know, and a lot of times we don't want to hear anything contrary to the labels definition that we have put upon ourselves. And it's time for that to let go, you know, and you really have to create your own life. And these are the different spiritual sciences that we have been taught, you know, and it's available. It's just a really tough journey, but um, there's a sacrifice to be made. You know, this is not, this this is why these guys like, you know, what's his name? Even Jay, what's his name? Jay Shitty. You know, he charges like probably like $100,000 for, you know, a 2-hour session. You know, I know. I mean, I don't know. I know of people. Heard of people charging like $50,000 for half an hour. You know, like Gary Vaynerchuk charges like $20,000 for a half an hour consultation. You know, I mean, the thing is, and then a lot of these like these people, what do you think they talk about? You know, what do you think when Tony Robbins gets called out, you know, out for like $200,000, you know, to some prince's house, you know, what do you think he tells them? You know, this is what he's telling him. So what I'm saying is this kind of information, not exactly what I'm saying, but I'm saying it gets a lot deeper, and everyday like habits that, you know, it's just like, what, dang, you know, it gets really really awesome. And that requires sacrifice, you know, because if something's free, then you're never going to do it. You're psychologically never going to take it seriously. And what does everybody value here? You know, they're least willing to, you know, their essence, their energy is their money. You know, so that is one of the hardest things to let go for personal development. You know, for somebody that wants to, that's the hardest thing to do, to invest in yourself and spend a large sum of money to invest in yourself. It is very hard for the ego, for the nafs, to justify that. But when it does, then it's like it's shed a certain aspect of itself, and it's like it's becoming a new person, you know. And then it's like it has to, those things have to happen all the time, because it does, and then it gets the help, right, and it learns these things, and then it's like it wasn't attached to like, okay, I want to, when I get this much money, it's like, then I better see results in a month, and blah blah blah, if I'm spending this much, you know. It's like, it doesn't work like that, you know. When it's like a process, and it's like any cycle in nature. You plant the seed has to be a seed that will sprout, you know, that has proven harvest, you know, that has proven um, uh, that has proven you know, almost like it's easy to harvest, you know. It's not like you have to do some crazy stuff, you know. I mean, a little bit crazy, but we'll get to that one day, maybe. But it's like you're a farmer, you know, and you're the creator of the seed and all that stuff. It's like a process, and then there's other parts of it that's unseen, where it's like you exchange vibration, frequency, and then, you know, there's energy, and like your own life, and things that you are blocked by, and what you block yourself as, you know. And it gets deep, and it's like a process, and it's really like a cleansing, you know. It's like a cleansing. This is the Hajj, you know. This is like this is the ritual, what Hajj is supposed to signify, also, of like a purification. You're born again, you know. This is like the Kaaba, the Ka and the Ba in ancient Egypt was the body and the spirit, and the body is represented as a structure, a form, which is Saturn, which is a hexagon, which is also a it's in the Mercedes sign, you know. It's hexagon, which is a cube, which is also, when you open up a cube, it's a it's a cross. And also when you know, the hexagon is also a forward, up facing triangle, and a down facing triangle, which is the feminine principle and the masculine principle united. In the middle is the you know, it's like the Star of David, you know, and it's all hexagon, you know. And then it's like the Ka and the Ba. It's, you know, it's like it's a ritual. You know, you go around the Kaaba 7 times counterclockwise, as to say that you're not underneath the construct of the Saturn, which is Chronos, and it's clockwise. You're under its construct. I mean, you're above it, because it's like it's not, you know, it's just like you created the construct, or a construct created, you know, by you, by man, whatever, to understand. And that becomes a stepping stone, you know, past Saturn, you know. What I think it's Pluto or something. No, Pluto's farther. I should know this, but Neptune maybe, and then Uranus, and then Pluto, and then it's like you go around it 7 times, 7 energy centers, 7 chakras, 7, which signify different kinds of vibrations and frequencies, you know, centers. And then it's like, you know, and then even Hagra, Ishmael's mother, was going back and forth, you know, 7 times, you know. And then when the spring came out, you know, and it's like going 7 times, as in like, you know, cleaning the energy, you know, and making those changes and habits that align you, and then the spring will appear, as in the awakening, the water of life, and then you start living, because then now everything is like sacred, you're it's what you put in your body, what you speak about, and what you create, and how you even get your money, it's like, I don't want to sell this liquor anymore, it's like, I don't want to sell these prescription drugs anymore, I don't want to, it's like, you see, that's when you see that thing, and it's like, that becomes, it's like, then it's like, you just jump, and then as you're jumping, you're going to build the airplane, the vessel, which is you, you're the vessel, but you have to jump. You can't do it on the ground, actually. That's the trick. And that's the scary part. And of course, it's scary to jump. And it's like, oh shit, the thing is, you're jumping in the dark, because you don't know what's going to come up, it's like something's going to hit you. I mean, it's like, what if you get, your leg cut off as you're jumping down something, what I mean? That's even horrible, right? That's what happens. And then you imagine it, and people imagine these worst case things, and they're always reacting to that. And then they're always imagining bad things happen to them, and something bad happens to them. And then it's like, it confirms their intuition is so good. And it's like, oh, why, it's like, then you get in a hole. It's like, that's just, trapped in like a very certain frequency that it's very difficult to get out of. It's out of a lot of, regret, or a lot of repressed anger, and, like issues, and a lot of people don't want to acknowledge that in our community, or in any community, maybe. I don't know. I'm talking about my community, and you can tell, you can see it in their face, you can see it in their body, you can see it in their life, you can see it in, it doesn't matter, it's not about what car they have, you see it on their vibration, their frequency, you see it. You can't not see it. It's like, nothing stays the same. It's either improving or declining. That's it. It can't stay the same. It's not. It can't. Gravity's always. It's like, it cannot stay the same. It can either improve or get worse. It's a law. Okay, everyone. Thank you for listening. And the apple, eat all of it. I eat the seeds. I eat everything, because it has certain compounds with when you eat it as a whole, and it's mixing and it's digesting in the same kind of time, it's releasing different hormones, reacting with it differently, opening up different benefits, like all kinds of things, like the nitrates in the seeds, are in perfect balance with the whole apple itself. So it has a perfect amount of nitrates for if you eat the whole apple. And if you had too many, it'd be bitter. It'd be like, prolonged use. If you just eat seeds of apple seeds, it's not good for you, because it has a bitter bitterness to it. But if you eat them with the apple, but now people don't eat the seeds, and all they're eating is the sweet and the fiber part, which is better than just juice. But then they start cutting the peel out, and then they start eating that only this meat part, and then it leads to like orange juice. It's like, the more you process it, the more you do things to it, the worse it gets. The less nutritious it gets. And you think you're eating healthy, all these healthy foods, but actually you're not. It's still spiking up your insulin. It's still, releasing all that cortisol. You're still getting fat. You're still getting, it's like, that's how it is. Yeah, it's complicated. It took me so long just to realize this. But when I did, it just clicked. It's just so easy now, because I could eat a little bit of cheesecake, but I will maybe eat some cheesecake, but I'll only eat like a slither of it, and it's like, but when I eat it, I'll just like close my eyes and kind of like get in a trance, and just kind of imagine Chicago and, or or imagine something, and then it's like, and it, just stay in that feeling for like 10 minutes, and then I'm done, and then it's like I gave my, it's like, because I know if I eat more and more, then it's gonna be like you can't be in that form because you lose what you did for that intent. It's not part of my intent, but I don't deny that part of me. Hey, we meet because it's grown too, so it wouldn't even want to eat the whole thing. The nuffs, it's grown too. As it ascends, it grows also, and it won't eat a whole pizza. Maybe it'll eat a gourmet pizza it makes with cauliflower bread. That's pizza it would eat, and it would agree to it and want to eat because it has better taste buds. It knows it doesn't want just like a bunch of refined flours. All right. Thank you for listening, and time to think outside the box. What served you, and be grateful for that. It's time to start climbing the rope and letting go of baggage, things that hold you down, preventing you from soaring to your potential. Okay, everyone? I'm going to continue on making these videos off and on, but I got to put in my spirituality talk. That's how I am, People say I cannot separate from that aspect. You can't separate spirituality from anything. It's all connected. How you eat, how you feel, how you think, that's not about religion. I'm talking about spirituality, which is religion has every religion has spirituality. That's what I'm saying. It's all spirituality. It's encompassed in spirituality. Even science is in spirituality. Science is a religion too. It has its priests. It has its, Neil deGrasse Tyson is a high priest. You know what I mean? They have their own hierarchy. It's a system, just like religion is too. Imams and this and that. It's like then, but in Sunni Islam, it's like you have imams, and then you're like, oh, we don't have any pope. We don't, because people can. It's like the people are their own leader. It's like, wait a second, no, they're not. It's like, that's what it's supposed to be, but it's like then you have like imams, and then you have like they have like knowledge from Medina University or there's different universities that are like for the system that we're in, they're more favorable. Like the Medina University people are like the top of the scholarly Islamic theology and all that, and like in my opinion, that's what it seems. In like, oh, they went to Medina University, and it's like the Zaytuna is like more Sufi people, and it's like a lot of the Sunni people that are like all for like people that are Medina University, they're like they don't even believe that Zaytuna, the Sufis are, that it's like they're like they don't consider them like Muslims that are like true, true, like more pure Muslims, authentic Muslims, I guess you can call it. They don't believe them to be. And it's like, well, then who gives Medina University power? Like, who gives them authority? Like, whose authority is it? All this translation, like, under whose authority? It's because the Shia people, they have totally more mystical translations, and like the 12 imams and all these things, and like which is 12 zodiac signs, there's 12 energies, 12 constellations, all, it's too much to get into, but it's like the 12 different, whatever, I'm not gonna say it, all kinds of things, like the 12 disciples of Jesus, even in Islamic, you have to believe that, he had 12 disciples, or, it's like, oh, we don't believe it's 12 because their book's corrupt. It's like, okay, it is 12. It's like, it's all coded, it's all coded things. But it's like, what do you call it? So yeah, this knowledge It'll change your life for the better. It doesn't have to be angry. I mean, I got angry at first because I was like, oh, but now it's like I understand. It's like it's you yourself that didn't learn more, and you yourself that um, agreed upon certain definitions, and you yourself that adopted just the herd mentality and just people around you's view about all kinds of things. Just to give you identity and keep you in that identity box that you've created for yourself and who you are and what you value and whatnot. But it's all to like shelter the ego as much as possible, the nafs. But it separated itself from that divine, and it's always questioning it. It's always like asking for dua, and it's like it doesn't really understand it, and it's like, but then all the science is coming up now, and all these other people talking about all these kind of things. It's getting confusing, and and then it's like you're asking questions at the masjid, and they're like, you can't read this book, or you can't ask these questions. It's like, who are you gonna go to? It's like, it's like, oh, pray, just read the Quran. That's what you're doing wrong. You have to read the Quran. It's like, I mean, some of it is correct, but what I'm saying is like it's deeper than that. It's like even when you're reading, you're saying certain words and syllables that are sending sound waves to your ear that are opening up different neurological connections from sound. That's why music is so powerful. And like music is powerful, and I use it to do all kinds of things, to set different like imprinting, like I'll tell you a secret. Like when I was in Moldova, I was imprinting a lot of certain songs as I was walking around in the city. This is on purpose. Like I was almost like, it's like you're in that imagination and that whole mode, as I'm walking around the city. And I did this for weeks, and so I listen to it now, which I don't have to listen to all the time. I'm just saying is like once in a while I'll listen to it at the gym to get a certain energy. See, I'm getting that frequency, and in that frequency I'm pushing myself because I'm collapsing that reality. Because now when I imagine it, I don't imagine it when I was doing it. I would imagine it in a different dimension, like in a better way. Now it's like with my fan, it's like it's all kinds of things. Like I imagine it different ways. Like now it's like, okay, having a place there and having this thing, and it's like you're setting up and the music is basically it's almost like a cheating code, but it's not cheat. There's no cheating. It's like does it trap you, or does it take your emotion, or does it give you emotion? So this is what it does for me. Certain songs, and that's the power of your intent and knowing these kind of things. That becomes powerful, like light that you keep on nourishing it. It's a seed, it keeps on growing, and it just pops out. Like things happen because you want things to happen to you in the way you imagine it to. But if you let go of that aspect of attaching onto a certain image, then you let the divine handle it as you are, raising your vibe, in terms of everything you do in your life, from how you eat to how you think and how you wake up, to as you're doing that, you're letting go and letting God, or letting the divine, and you're doing your meditation and your dhikr and your prayers and stuff, and you're being a company of better people. And if there's nobody around you, you're not being around them. You're improving yourself. You're always learning. You're expanding your horizons. You're not falling to judgment. You're not judging people. But you're not like trying to be overly nice. You just kind of like you're always like in control of your emotions. You're not reacting, and you're acting, but the act has to be encompassed with your intent, not acting on a chronic reaction. Yes, reacting to like the car swerving, that's a different reaction. Okay, I'm saying is your intent. Okay, everyone, I've said enough, and hopefully I stirred up some minds. So please comment and let me know what you think and if you have any questions. Okay, Assalamu alaikum.